Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals. Welcome to some Heart of the Swarm action, and we have got some ZvZ play coming up. It's going to be on Akelon Wastes, and in the lower right position we have the red Zerg, Blade, and his opponent up in the top left, the blue Zerg player, LzGamer. So, these two are both very good. LzGamer, I still to this day remember the first time I ever cast him, and it was on Antigua Shipyard, and he was the first player I ever saw using the trick where you could throw infested Terran eggs over the gap between your main and the enemy's third if you were in the close position spawns. And I absolutely flipped tables. I was like, wow, that is so cool, and he annihilated the third and won the game, and it was really impressive, and I was like, that dude is awesome. So, a bit of a backstory there, I do know. And what we've got so far is Blade rather, going for a temple. LZ went for the extractor trick to get the Overlord out, but Blade definitely going to be the aggressor here. It's a very large map though, so being aggressive with just slowlings could be a little bit problematic for him, because he's got to run all the way across the map and get up in here, and as long as LZ doesn't go too crazy late on his spawning pool or anything like that, he should be okay. Double extractor trick coming down from Blade as well here. This is going to be a temple into some very, very quick speedlings. They're getting the Overlord down, and just generally speaking, this is probably one of the most aggressive builds you can go while still maintaining some form of economy. So it's not all in or anything like that, but as we see, LZ, he's going for a hatch first. It's what you'd expect on this map, to be honest, because it is a large map, macro favored, and therefore going for that hatchery early on is a lot more common than you might expect. So as we can see, 6 Zerglings in production now for Blade. He's got the Overlord out. He'll probably start the Queen next. That's another step you make in order to make sure that you keep your economy looking quite comfy. But instead, not just going to go straight up to 8 Zerglings. And of course, LZ only just starting his spawning pool right now. So this is potentially going to do an awful lot of damage. This Overlord is going to get a bit of a shock though. Any second, the vision for LZ, if we just stick on here, he's going to be like, okay, 2, 4, 6. Oh dear. Oh dear, 6 Zerglings, that is not what I wanted to see. At least there's not any more. If only there's... That's fine, 6 Zerglings I can deal with. And then like, oh dear, 8 Zerglings. This is some bad times. And what is his response going to be? Well, he straight away cancels down that extractor. He's got his Overlord out. His spawning pool about to finish. He may have to cancel this hatchery though. It's going to be fairly close because there's 8 Zerglings. That's going to do a lot of damage. Blade is starting his natural base behind this though. He's also got the gas about to be up and running, so he's going to have an earlier speed. Drones getting pulled though. LZ desperately wants to save this, and as we can see now, the drones are going on a head-to-head fight with those Zerglings. Are any drones going to go down? Well, it looks like a couple will, pulling back the damaged ones there. Nice play out of LZ. He's dealt with half of those Zerglings already. The other one's on low health, and now gets the complete surround. The Zerglings will not be able to escape, and LZ deals with that very, very nicely. He only lost 4 workers in total, but does actually level out the worker count. LZ also got a good number of speedlings on the way out. Maybe going to go for some counter aggression. That means Blade will have to get up a defensive force as well. His Queen is nearly out. Meanwhile, for LZ, his first Queen isn't yet out. He's only just starting that now. So basically, he needs that Queen out as soon as possible. He needs the second Queen as well to be injecting off of both hatcheries in order to really solidify his good position of going hatch first and not taking too many losses. But as we can see, it looks like counter aggression is going to be on the cards. LZ still making more Zerglings as well behind this. He's got a good number out on the field. 18 out compared to the 6 of Blade. This could become a very quick game, but Blade in a good defensive position. He wants to tuck all of his units up on this ramp. While he's pumping more out, he's seen with the Overlord that a good number of Zerglings are on their way across the map. The Baning Nest coming out for Blade as well. That'll help him defend this, but it is only half done. Still another 30 seconds till it's complete, and then the Morphing Climb. This hatchery taking an awful lot of damage. Queen is there though, going to try and help, but it's probably going to get sniped down, and losing a Queen at this stage of the game can be absolutely massive. We can see the health is diminishing very, very quickly, and does fall, and LZ, while his Zerglings are coming out on top, he's lost quite a few, but knocking out that Queen was the major win for LzGamer, because taking that out just means that actually the production for your opponent is going to be really quite stunted. He does have another Queen, but he's not going to be injecting off of 2 hatches. But then again, neither is LZ. Both players on the 1 Queen now, so that's stabilized. The Baneling's starting to morph. That will spell the end to this Zergling aggression, but the hatchery stays up. Blade has stabilized this quite well, but behind this, LZ has just been droning. After the 25 drones at the 16 of Blade, that is a sizable chunk of an advantage, but Blade, he's getting out his speed a lot sooner. LZ still doesn't have any gas, therefore does not have the option for Banelings, does not have the option for speed yet, and that means tech-wise, Blade is winning in this game still, and could go for some counter aggression, but Slowlings v Slowlings, is pretty unextraordinary. They will just run away pretty fast, so things still manageable. We've got the 2 spine crawlers coming up. This is in direct response to the banelings. You need those spines, you need to focus down any banes that could come waddling up your ramp. And as long as you take them down, then you should be a-okay. Double queens out now for LZ. That's compared to the single queen rather for Blade. That production is gonna be beneficial. That's just an extra 4 lava, extra 40 every 40 seconds, which is very nice for LZ, and it's going to allow him really to just pump out a lot more drones, a lot more units. He needs to start thinking about taking some gas though. He still hasn't, so just relying on the queen and also these 2 spine crawlers has gone now up to 3 queens. That means he can block off this ram quite nicely, preventing speedling run-bys into his main base. But more banelings, well, there are still the 2 banelings out there just defensively up in the main base in case of any speedling pressure. But we can see that LZ, he's still looking quite comfortable in his work account, now grabbing up all 4 gas at once. So waited till very late, grabs all 4 gas. That means that he's going to very quickly be able to get his lair out, could transition into roaches, skip the baneling phase altogether. It just depends on his particular playstyle. Blade getting his lair up though, getting his 2nd and 3rd gas at the same time, so that is nothing too scary, nothing too amazing. Muta v Muta, of course, is pretty much the staple of ZvZ and Heart of the Swarm at the moment. Zerglings do manage to get in, 1 gets in, sees the macro hatch, and that speedling is going to get a good scout out. Does see both gas there, but the gas are unbeknown about at the natural, but knows there's 2 up in the main, and the Overlord very close, could just move in to get a quick little view of it all. Anyway, macro hatches do make a big difference. Taking a 3rd may have been a bit too risky, so LZ just focusing on getting the extra economy with the 3rd queen as well. He's going to be able to pump out a lot of lava, a lot of units or drones very early on in this matchup. Is getting now down his lair. Still got a very sizable amount of gas coming in, but so is Blade. So both these players looking like they're going to be banking up the gas in order to go straight into Muta, staying in the Ling phase as long as possible. These 2 banelings are the only 2 that have been made so far, but LZ getting a double evolution chamber, which is making me think maybe we won't be seeing, well, not even make me think, knowing that it won't be Mutas now, because there's no reason to get 2 evolution chambers if you're going Mutalisk, unless of course you were just trying to mind game your opponent. But there's the Spire. Blade definitely knows what he's going for, and Mutas, once they get up to a critical mass in Heart of the Swarm, due to their fast regeneration, just become so difficult to deal with, because if you don't kill a Mutalisk, in 2 minutes he'll be back with full health, and you will be having the pain all over again. So 1-1 upgrades coming out, probably going to be Roach Hydra, could also be some Swarm Hosts, so Roach Horror now getting started, and Roach Hydra will be superior to Mutalisk for the early phases. While the Muta flock doesn't get too large, you'll be able to take it head on, but once those Muta numbers start getting really high, start harassing, start destroying your mineral lines, you can run into some really serious problems. But a good number of queens are out, that should help with the static defense as well, so just pumping queen after queen. LZ going for this very queen heavy style. We see now that the Overseer trying to come in, but is going to die fairly quickly to so much anti-air. The single changeling just sitting there down by the natural base. I don't believe LZ saw that, but all 4 gas have now been seen. The double upgrades coming along quite nicely. Roach speed also there. LZ though hasn't yet started any Hydra dens, so he's got very little anti-air except in the form of those queens, instead choosing to get up the Overlord speed upgrade. But now we see the first mutas coming out, 2 on their way. We do also have the +1 air weapons for Blade, and Blade has an awful lot of gas but not that many minerals work account wise, 4 between them. But LZ, he scouts the Spire. That was a brilliant scout off, precisely what he needed, and Overseers just moves so quick with the speed upgrade as well. So as we can see, LZ now should be able to prepare appropriately, and looks like he's going to be going for Yolden tactic of, if my opponent is going mutas, maybe I should just go and kill him. The third base up and running though for Blade, that's instead of the macro hatch. That does put Blade slightly ahead economically, and all in all, LZ with the 1-1 upgrades now going to start moving across the map with those queens, starting moving the roaches as well. More roaches behind this. Roach speed is nearly finished up. It's going to be a very, very tough timing push. 3 spines are the only thing they're defending. The muta count not that high. 10 out on the field. So 10 mutas will eventually be able to kill everything, but the queens providing the anti-air with an awful lot of transfuses prepared, using the overlords as well to create this creep highway straight to his opponent's base, and that is going to be very, very useful. The mutalists though do spot the roaches, the queens coming forward though, and you need this creep spread. Otherwise, of course, Overlords, the Queens would take so long to get anywhere. Overlord's trying to get sniped out though. The counter pushing is always going to be concerning. A Transfuse even going down on the Overlord there, just to keep it alive, to keep the creep spread going more. Roaches are getting pumped out. Spore Crawlers coming down behind this for LZ. We see the +1 air weapons is nearing completion, but still a good 40 seconds away, and this push is likely to come before then. More Spine Crawlers getting pumped out as quickly as possible, but the Transfuses, where are they? The Queens need to get over here. We see the one Spine gets knocked out very, very quickly. The 1-1 upgrades, so powerful on these Roaches. The Queens also benefiting from them. And now, as we see that these Mutas are trying to do some nice damage with Transfuses, going down on the Roaches oh so fast, making this army as cost effective as possible. Some Banings are going to connect though, but Transfusing so effectively behind this. The Micro intense. And as we can see now, the Queens trying to start dealing with those Mutalisks. We've got more in production for Blade, but with so many Queens with so much energy, they are just not dying. And that is the problem there. LZ still got a lot of Roaches up, and Blade leaves the game. He knows he's not going to be able to hold off that aggression in time. And yeah. Thank you very much everyone for watching. Remember, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, and I hope to see each and every one of you tomorrow for yet another new cast. Bye for now.